I'm not saying that the world is enjoying its longest period of uninterrupted peace in years because of me. I'm not saying that from the ashes of captivity never has a greater phoenix metaphor been personified in human history. I'm not saying that Uncle Sam can kick back on a lawn chair, sipping on an iced tea, because I haven't come across anyone who's man enough to go toe-to-toe with me on my best day.
You see, I truly believe what holds most people back sometimes, yes, lack of confidence, but also lack of communication skill. You see, Tony is a phenomenal communicator. Tony Stark, very charismatic, very confident. Not only he feels confidence, but he knows how to communicate confidently. I think nowadays, because of social media, because now we're working on from the computer, from a laptop, from a phone, that very often, even young people, that they don't know how to talk to people anymore, right? They don't know how to communicate. It's through text. But how do you express yourself confidently, one-on-one, on the phone, or to a camera, right? See, that will have more impact in your career, in your life, in your income, way more than you think. So if you want to be more confident in life, in whatever you do, work on also your communication skill.
How many Virgin brands?
I think we have about 350 Virgin brands around the world.
We suddenly realized, we actually have something which is something we've got to protect and we've got to nurture. The brand is ultimately what Virgin's all about. I wasn't thinking, right, let's just take this brand into lots of different areas. I just felt, we can do better in health clubs. We can do better in the mobile phone business.
We want Virgin to be, a company which we can be proud of, but more to the point, we want Virgin to be the greatest force for good company in the world and making a real difference in the world. And that's something that everybody who works with Virgin can be really proud of.
I think we all have a primary question that drives us every single day, right? As an employee, maybe the primary question you have is, when am I gonna get my check? Or how many vacations I wanna take a year, right? Or how I'm gonna pay my bills. Every single person has a primary question that you play. It's almost like a CD, right? You play in the back of your mind, that you ask yourself these questions, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously every single day. But I think as an entrepreneur, you notice Richard Branson said it many, many times. What's his primary driving question? Comment below, see if you know. It's the same question that I ask myself every single day, and that is, how can I make it better? That's what drives us. Because that's our obsession. Whatever we do, we see an industry, we see something within the company, we see something within our people. How can we make it better? It could be just a little 5%, 10% here and there, but how can we make it better? And as other people thought, well, you cannot make it better than that, then we ask, how can we even make that better? How can we make it better? That's what drives us. And I believe that's what drives entrepreneurs. They see something, a product, a service, a need in the marketplace that's not being fulfilled, that doesn't meet the standard. They say, hey, I can do better than that. I can create something better than that. I can fulfill the need better than that. And they go and execute and put together a team of people. That's what entrepreneur does. That's all entrepreneur does. So primary question, how can I make something better?
I killed those people. That's what I can be.
No, you can't. You're not.
I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be. Call it in.
Everyone wants to be a hero, but not everyone is willing to make the sacrifices to be a hero. The word hero actually comes from the Greek word heros. It means defender and protector. It means as a hero, you are the servant for many. That you're a protector, you are a defender. You put people first. You put yourself last. That's how you become a hero. That's how you become a leader. That's how you become a defender. You put other people first. Sometimes, in some cases, you sacrifice yourself for the greater good. What's best for others? What's best for the organization? What's best for the company?
I am true to my word. Or I try to be. That is why I cannot give you what you ask. I cannot serve two queens. And I've already pledged myself to Queen Daenerys of House Targaryen.
Then there is nothing left to discuss. The dead will come north first. Enjoy dealing with them. We will deal with whatever is left of you.
I'm pleased you bent the knee to our queen. I would have advised it, had you asked. But have you ever considered learning how to lie every now and then? Just a bit?
I'm not going to swear an oath I can't uphold. Talk about my father if you want. Tell me that's the attitude that got him killed. But when enough people make false promises, words stop meaning anything. Then there are no more answers, only better and better lies. And lies won't help us in this fight.
I love it when John says, when people start making false promises, words don't mean anything. I think it's very important in business that we lead with integrity. And I believe integrity is very simple. It's you do what you say you're gonna do. It's very, very simple. In front of your team, if you say you're gonna do something, you do it. You follow through. You make a promise in the marketplace, you follow through. Lead with integrity. I think in the business world, this is missing. Sometimes people promise you to do this and do that, and they cannot even show up on time.
It's economics 101. Whatever you incent will happen. If you incent one thing, that thing will tend to happen more than the other thing. If you incent another thing, that thing will happen. And so the economics should favor innovation. And this is particularly important to protect small to medium-sized companies because it's sort of like trying to grow a tree in a forest. Like, it's real hard for a new company to grow. When it's just a seedling or a sapling, it needs a lot more protection than if it's a giant redwood or something like that. So very important to give support to small and small to medium-sized companies on the innovation front. They're the ones that need it more than the big companies.
You see, most people, when they think of being innovative, right? They think about, I want to create something new. I want to create something that no one has ever seen on this planet Earth. I want to do something that no one's ever done before. I want to create this technology, right? I want to have this invention. Well, I believe there's a difference between being inventive and innovative. Inventive is you have to be creative. You're inventing a new technology, a new product, a new service, right? And something that no one's ever done it. However, being innovative, I believe, is something different. I don't consider myself to be very inventive. I'm very innovative, meaning that I could see things, a need in the marketplace, and ask myself how I could make that a little bit better, right? How can I have a new spin or new way of market this, or add a new feature to it, and you bring it to the marketplace, right? Or I see there are so many products and services, but there's this gap in between. There's this need that's not being fulfilled. It's not a brand new technology, but it is a need that's not being fulfilled. Then I come out with interesting or different and unusual ideas, approach to satisfy the needs in this particular space. That's, to me, that's being innovative, not just inventive.
I believe one thing, when you have a cup of $2 or $3 million, that money belong to you. When you have $20 million, you have problems about money depreciation, you should buy this stock or that stock. When you have more than $100 million, $1 billion, that money does not belong to you. It's the social responsibility. People trust you, ask you to manage the money better. So that was the thinking. And then we decided, we say we should make an economy that is big enough with that economy, we can enable every young people, every small business, every woman, globally. They want a global buy, global sell, global deliver, global pay, and global travel with the technology we're giving. We can create 100 million jobs for the world. Today, we create 33 million jobs for China.
That's very, very powerful. And I think in the beginning of my career, at first, why I started my own business is because I wanted to support my mom. Once I have enough income coming in that I'm able to support my mom, support my family, support myself, then it's about kind of living that lifestyle, right? I want that car, I want that house. Once you also accomplish that, then it goes into something bigger. Now it's about the company, about the team, right? And then once you get bigger than that, then it's about now solving bigger problems. With me, that's why if you study my work, if for my students, you will know that the way that I'm building my organization, it's not just Dan Law organization. It's about just offering product and service. Really what I am doing with everything that I do, I'm building an ecosystem where you help not just yourself, but the people around you, creating opportunities, creating a better lifestyle, creating more abundance for them. Because when you have the skill as an entrepreneur, you actually have the skill set. This is something, probably the most important lesson I learned from Jack Ma. It's think bigger and create an ecosystem. Apple is not a cell phone company. It builds an entire ecosystem that helps the manufacturer to make money. It helps the vendor to make money. It helps the app developer to make money. It helps artists to make money, right? That's an ecosystem. It's not just one thing. So that's profound.
You are not ready.
I know.
Like everyone else, you want to learn the way to win, but never to accept the way to lose. To accept defeat, to learn to die is to be liberated from it. So when tomorrow comes, you must free your ambitious mind and learn the art of dying.
To learn the art of dying. This is a very profound lesson from Bruce. What does he mean by that? You see, sometimes we get so attached to the goals. Sometimes we get so attached to how to achieve their goals. One of the things I've learned from my Sifu, from my martial arts Sifu, is that he said, okay, so Dan, when you try to attack and you say, you know what, I'm gonna hit the opponent this way. And then you say, I'm so fixated, I'm gonna hit him this way and he's not gonna be able to block it, I'm gonna hit it. And suddenly when there's an obstacle, you're like, oh, then you all tense up, oh, how come that didn't work? That wasn't going to, according to my plan, right? It's not happening the way that I see it in my mind. Then what happens is, this kind of stuff is the same thing in life. That when we try something, oh, it doesn't work, shit, it doesn't work. What happens? Oh, then you got all tense up. Well, what happens in martial when you got all tense up? You're not relaxed. You cannot react, right? You cannot move. You are so tense. Same thing in life, where, you know what, there's an obstacle. I can redirect, right? There's another opening, right? I can find other ways. My goal is still the same, that I want to hit the target, but the way I go about it might change. So the more sometimes when you try to win, the more you attach to the outcome. Sometimes it's counterintuitive. But when you let go of the need to control, doesn't mean we don't strive, doesn't mean we don't try, doesn't mean we don't do our very best. But when you are doing that at the same time internally, you let go of your need to control. That's how you win.
It's really just a few principles that we use as we go about these activities. At the very top of the list is one I've already mentioned, but you'll probably hear it 10 times throughout tonight because it's so central, and it is customer obsession. It's customer obsession instead of For example, competitor obsession, or business model obsession, or product obsession, or technology obsession. There are many ways to center a business.
What I realized is through the whole process, because I'm grounded in my own self, that although I could have more shoes, my feet stayed on the ground, although I was wearing better shoes. These are kind of cute today, too. So I could keep my feet on the ground, even though I could get more shoes. And I could understand that it really was because I was grounded. I've done the was doing and continue to this day to do the consciousness work. I work at staying awake. And being awakened is just another word for spirituality, but spirituality throws people off and they think you mean religion. When I was hiring people for my company looking for presidents, when people would come in, I'd say, tell me, what is your spiritual practice? And literally would throw, people would go, well, I'm not religious. Or I said, I didn't ask you about your religion. I asked you what's your spiritual practice. What do you do to take care of yourself? What do you do to keep yourself centered? What do you do to the, and one woman started crying, that's not the person.